This episode of Shop Talk is sponsored by God's Glory Transportation. God's Glory Transportation is built from the ground up, from the good Lord above. You can get with my brother Dennis McFadden, the owner and operator of God's Glory Transportation, for all of your auto transport needs or how to get started. You can visit his website at www.godsglorytransportation.com. Will Gregg, owner of KME Auto Cosmetics, where you get more than you expect for less than you thought, and it's not by accident. You can locate KME 380 Neely Street, Sumter, South Carolina. Also, you can make contact with the owner, Will Gregg, at 803-840-8190. Frederick Benjamin, owner and CEO of a legendary art tattoo studio, where he's the best tattoo artist in the state. Yeah, I said it, the best tattoo artist in the state. You can locate Legendary Art Tattoo at 1155 North Ginyard Drive, Suite number 6. You can also make contact with Legendary Art Tattoo Studio at 803-983-9147. That's 803-983-9147. Jeffrey Lampkin's Country Boy Kitchen. It's like a Sunday afternoon at Grandma's house. Visit their website at www.lordsoulfood.com for location information and to order online. Train So Hard University, where it's just not a movement, it's a lifestyle. You can contact myself, Excalibur Miller, on Facebook, or my Instagram, The Miller Experience, or you contact my brother, T Miller, on Facebook, or on Instagram, Prodigal Son 36. Interested in being a sponsor for Shop Talk or the Miller Experience, you can contact myself, Ernest Miller, at 803-565-9752, or you can hit me up on my email at eaenestmiller83@gmail.com. You can also make contact with my producer, Victor Wesley of Vic West Production. His telephone number is 803-225-0021. Also, his email address is vicwestp@gmail.com.
Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up. First things first, don't do this rap shit to stand out. My plan's about to minimize the folks holding their hands out. Whether you on the corner bumming all day at your man's house.
Welcome to Shop Talk, Battle of the Sexes. I'm your host, Excalibur. Before we get started with the show, I just want to put out, it's very important. November 8th is very important, guys. Vote. It's not the presidential election, it's your local election with your House of Representatives. In my humble opinion, I think it's important. That's more important than the presidential. Why? Because it's going to affect us. This is what is going to affect us, who you put in the seat of the House of Representatives. All right, from your family, your friends. If you got a sick parent, a sick friend, it's going to affect them. Our ancestors, white and black, fought hard for this, for us to vote. So do what you're supposed to do. Be responsible. Go out there and vote. It's only 30 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. You sit in longer lines than Black Friday. All right? So November 8th, guys, do what you got to do. Make us proud. Go out there and vote. All right. Shop Talk, Battle of the Sexes. First time. Love it. We got some very, very intelligent individuals that's going to speak their mind, say what they got to say. Right, T?
What you talking about, Terrence?
Yeah, Terrence, my brother Terrence, man. Yeah. All right. So this will be aired on Tubi and also YouTube. Thank you, Tubi, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you. Like I said, my name is Excalibur. We're going to start off the show with checking on everybody's mental fitness. I don't like to say mental health because it makes us sound crazy. So I want to say mental fitness. How we do the mental fitness, we rate it from 1 to 10. 1 meaning the lowest, 10 meaning the highest. All right, let's start off with you, Fred.
I'm good right now. I'm at a 10. And the reason being because everything is going smooth. I've been blessed, and I got no complaints at this current moment. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
What about you, Q?
I say 7, strong 7. The only thing is just the school challenge. You know, the family thing is finally dying down. They got what they want. Amen. So I'm able to progress and with my goals and ambitions in other areas, including getting another class closer to getting my EDS. So, yeah.
That's what's up, man. What about you, Jay?
5. Just everything's real mellow right now. Real chill. Died down.
Terrence?
Say about a 7. Tired. Been having putting a lot of work in at the job, but you know I'm still grateful for the opportunity. It's all good, so I say about a 7.
What about you, T?
Today I'm a 10. Everything's good, family good, I'm good. So 10.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I'm an 8.
You 8?
I'm an 8. I have a lot of things going on right now where my desires are now being kind of being leveled out with what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm losing people that were normally there and gaining people that I don't really know. So I'm having to be more discernful of who's in my corner, who's not in my corner, and then just getting used to them not being there.
I got you. What about you, Andrew?
I was gonna say a 5, but Terrence just changed my mind to a 7. Just like I say, you know, the job is real hectic right now. But I got a job, getting paid, you know, and one of those jobs I know is gonna be there. So I'm gonna say a small 7.
Well, I'm going to say a strong 8 or 9. I think it's always room for improvement, so I don't want to say 10, but I'm in a really, really good space in my life. I'm definitely living that soft life at this point in time, so I have no complaints. My children are good, my family's good, I'm good. I'm just taking one day at a time and just being very easy breezy and loving on myself and doing things that just makes me feel, but that femininity is really, really showing and reflecting in me right now. So yeah, I'm gonna say I'll give it a strong 9. We're gonna leave that 1 for just some improvement. I'm sure I can find something to improve it.
And I agree with you on that. I'm a strong 9 also. I'm like you, it's always that 1%, well, that one number that you get leave for an improvement. Like I said, everything's good with me. My family, career-wise, side hustle-wise, everything good, but you know I ain't never satisfied.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a 9 for me. And 9 is good. 9 is good. All right. Forgot to do this in the beginning, but let's get started. So the shop talk, our normal cast. We got Quentin Kelly, Jason Moore, Terrence Miller, Andrew Hughes, and myself, Excalibur. We got 4 guests. Well-rounded. Ain't afraid to speak their mind guests. Very intelligent. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and tell us a little about yourself. We start with you, Fred.
I'm Frederick Benjamin, owner and operator of Legendary Art Tattoo Studio.
Which is where we at now.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful facility.
Yeah, and I'm the first and only black-owned tattoo studio here in Sumter, South Carolina. Just made it to Who's in America for the whole state of South Carolina, and that's it.
Give me Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, Instagram is Legendary Art Tattoos, and Facebook, Frederick Benjamin, or Legendary Art. So.
I'm Tawana Miller, Excalibur's wife.
Pray for me.
I'm in finance. I've been in finance for about 22 years. That's what I love to do. Love my family, and that's it.
Hello, I am Fernicia Bradley, and I am an event planner. I am the director for Miss South Carolina Plus America PD division. I'm a motivational speaker, so kind of like a jack of all trades. 26 years in retail, left that and pursuing something that I really love to do, which is event planning, and just trying to.
You got a social media website so they
Social
know how to contact
media is my name for FRANEICIA B on all social media outlets.
Say your name one more time.
It is Franicia B.
Alicia.
Hi, I am Andrea Brown. I am the owner of Millennium Studios, which is where we are. Frederick, we are partners here. He's legendary. I'm Millennium Studios. I've been in business for about 6 years. What we do is we do paint and sips. We also host venue rentals. We're mobile. So everything art and paint and sip, I feel like I'm the queen of. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at this thing now. I'm also, so of course I'm an entrepreneur in that way, but I'm an entrepreneur in other things too. I share not to speak on, but I am definitely building generational wealth and passive income at this point. So I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Give them your social media, how to contact.
On Facebook, we are Millennium Studios 1. On Instagram, we are millennium.studios. And our website is www.millennium-studios.com, where you can find all information, all types of information on booking, upcoming events, if you want to schedule your own private event, things of that nature. So, yeah.
And you already know who I am, Excalibur, the host with the most. All right, let's start with the topics, guys. Y'all ready? Let's get it, man. Topic number 1. Who struggles more in a blended family, men or women? Huh? Who want to kick it off? Huh? Let's go ahead.
Because this is my second time in the blended family. So, well, I'll say this. I think it's both people, but the men definitely have it the hardest.
Yeah.
Because, mom's going to always be mom. But the fathers, especially coming in as a stepdad, you got to basically, it's almost like sometimes women will compare the man coming in to the men that they just had. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll sometimes even with some of their I'm trying to find the right words. Some of their grievances carry over to the new man. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, with you having to deal with other people's kids as well as your own kids, and being subjected to some of the criticisms, because if you have to deal with a certain type of woman, I ain't gonna put all the business out, but the first one I had, if you're being a good man, being a good father, and then having to deal with a individual who tells the kids, oh, don't listen to him, he's not your father, but you're doing everything as the father role, stuff like that. So I think it's a little harder on the men. This second time around, because this is my second marriage, I'm in a better situation. I got a level-headed woman and a real partner that understands her role as the wife, and my role as the husband coming in, being a father to her kids, and even with dealing with her ex. We're not buddy-buddy. We're not sitting around drinking beers and stuff, but we can come together when it comes time as far as the kids, planning, all that good stuff. So it's not a big issue. So that's my take on that.
I do agree with you. Kind of harder on the men, but I really think it's about the individual, who you're dealing with. I have 3 children from a previous marriage, and you have to co-parent. Everybody got to be on one accord. I look at it, because the children will play on a blended family. They will play you off on each other. So everybody has to be on one accord. Even my ex-husband and his wife, we are good friends. We babysit, they babysit. But I really think it's all about the individual. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. It has to be constant communication, and it's got to be real communication. But because just like you said, if you got one parent saying, "Oh, you ain't got to do that because he's not your dad," you ain't got to listen. No, you in my house, I'm spending my money. No, ma'am, we're not having that. If that's the case, then you send him to go live with that dad. You know, I mean, I hate to be that way, but that's the way it is. I mean, I've been in a couple of relationships where, not married relationships, but a couple of relationships where, she had kids, and I'm just that loving person. When it comes to kids, I love kids. I do anything for them, as much as I can. But like I tell my own kids, as long as you're doing right, you can be all right. What you're doing wrong, you will live long because I ain't going to help you.
That's right.
So, when it comes to that, I had one that me and her son got physical because he was at that point to where he thought he can bump his gums. And like, again, I'm at the mall spending my money on you, just spent $300 on you to go to school.
So when y'all got physical, how did that work out with the mom?
Oh, she had nothing to say because she knew it was coming. She knew it was coming because after that happened, what happened was he called his dad in New York. And his dad had some words on the phone with her. And just like she told him, you got a problem with it? You talk to him. I never talked to him because, of course, he realized that your son got all this mouth. That's why he's not with you. And, it finally got to the point to where I had to take care of it. I mean, we in the middle of the mall parking lot, and he tells me, something about you. You ain't no real cop. And start running his mouth. And then he jumped out the car. Okay, he jumped out the car and stop. Because, she's Caucasian. She said, I had to look for a black man chasing a white kid ran in the parking lot. Yes. But when he ran off with his girlfriend's house when he got home that night, it was on. We're in the house now. But, and those things, as men, we pray. I pray to God. I say, please don't let me meet a woman that's got some crazy kids because I don't like doing that. I like taking care of the family. I like doing my part as, a mate, husband, or whatever have you. And kids are sponges. They need to learn from us. And it's always good to have good communication and good partnerships to where, they can do that. And they can see that that's what we're doing. So when they grow older, they have kids or whatever have you, and model what we're doing. So when they have those type of things going on, hey, they can live the same way. So
You made me think about something. Who do you guys think, which male or female, who do you think is more accepting of a blended family? I'm asking because something you said that jogged this question in my head, but I feel like because women are nurturers, we're more accepting of it. Men, we want you guys want your, I want my kid to be a part of me type thing. So do you think that plays a role in how the relationships unfold or how the household dynamic play out? Because men may be a little bit more reserved with accepting this step, and women as nurturers, we're going to just do that?
I like to answer that and further your point is if you look at it, right, we're part of the animal kingdom. If you look at the top of the animal, it's supposed to be the lion, right? The monarch. If a lion comes to a different pride and takes out whoever was that reigning king there, monarch there, his next move, unfortunately, is to eliminate his lineage. So he kills all the babies. So that then it forces the woman to be in a place to be receptive to him, to want to have babies. Now, of course, we're not animalistic. We're not taking anybody's child out. We're not doing anything crazy like that, of course. But it's just from a man's perspective, we want to have something to say, that's me, and because we understand to another note the challenges that come with that dynamic of that father saying, well, that ain't your child. You ain't going to tell my child what to do in this. Whereas a woman, she may feel whatever kind of way, but a man can step in and like, listen, baby, this is what's going to happen. This ain't about us. This is about the child. So you going to play your part. She's going to play that part. And I'm going to make sure this is handled. female don't have that kind of, you know, unction and power to be able to get both men to line up most of the time. It would have to take some real reasonable, sensible men to like, well, you're right. It's about the child, not about me. Because most is just an ego thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I wanna come through again. You know, I wanna see what she knows. She missed me. He ain't, you know, all like you. Just give it a fuck, right? You know what I'm saying? And so then you wonder, like, okay, you took him over there about 2 hours ago. Where you went after you dropped him off, or did you just leave the house? You know, so it makes a man insecure in some ways that I think can cause problems. And if she feeds on that insecurity, she don't set it straight, then it's a whole plethora of issues. So to answer your question, I truly believe it's the female that's more accepting because they are natural nurturers and caregivers. So,
Because it's just like you're saying, a man will give it up. If I come into a blended family and you and him constantly, you know, oh, this is my child, and I have no part, but yet you ready to go to King's Dominion on my money, I'm out.
I mean,
Carry on.
Of course, most likely the woman to be more accepting because she's the one coming in with her kids. I mean, even if the man has kids, the kids is most likely going to be with their mother. So that woman's going to be bringing her kids wherever she goes. So what's she going to do? Say no? Nah, them kids is coming. So she automatically has to be accepting of it. But the issue comes into play with the men. I think more men would be accepting of it if you really can't tell other people kids nothing. I mean, let's be real about it. Especially if you got a combative woman. I mean, if you got a combative woman, then kids are going to be even more combative. And you're just going to be frustrated and probably just be sitting in your room all damn day.
It's true.
Because you hear a lot of horror stories. I mean, you may hear some good ones sprinkled here and there, but you hear stories like you having to put hands on kids, and as a man gets older and the boy get older, how you really think that might go? It might go the other way. You know. So what logical thinking person really wants to or is going to be excited about going into something like that? Yeah, it could go well, but there's a good chance it ain't.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say most women know what they do as they get older. You know, they had these kids, but as they get older, they realize that they need that balance. They need that.
By that
leader.
time, it's too late.
Sometimes too late, but
nah, it's too late, bro. Cause the kids grown. Then let's be real. The woman 9 times out of 10 worn down. Nobody want to deal with her.
Well, okay.
By that time, it's too late, man. They need to figure it out early.
And that's probably why I had to put my hands on because he was 20. So.
And I noticed too, like I think it's a little better if you come into the situation and the kids are younger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you can pretty much raise that child too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because even with my first wife, the kids was like 2 and 3, but the pushback was her. You know, some women, you know, if I tell the whole story, they be like, "Oh, you blaming her for everything." No, I blame her for what I saw and what I experienced. And if I'm sitting there trying to do my part as a man, and you keep telling me no, or you telling me, "Oh, he needs a father figure," and all this other crazy mess, and I'm sitting right there spending time with your child every day. Yeah,
that's
what
wild,
you calling
right
that? And then to top it off, so now the situation with him, because he's still my son. So regardless, he's about should be 30 now, but he's in prison because of certain choices that she made and certain things I had to pull back from because I couldn't deal with her and functionally help with my kids. So like now, my wife now with the kids that we have together, my son and my baby boy and then my other stepkids, it's a lot more communication and a lot more give and take. It's not just oh, mine. It's ours. You know what I'm saying? So I think if it's better with the kids are smaller, because I've been with her 11 years now. Met them, kids were small. They're good kids. They listen. Some of them still act ignorant. You know, we got a couple of hard-headed people, but overall they're good kids, and they're we have a lot of communication. We actually have talks in our house kind of like this. Like, we be talking about everything, sex, news, you name it, we talking about it. Yeah. So I think that's a whole, it takes that to be able to, you know what I'm saying? I won't say establish, you got to establish a certain type of rapport with the family itself, the whole family. Yeah.
I think even with building your household, like for me, I was a single parent, and me and my kids, they had split when they were 1 and 6 months old, and I chose not to date in front of them. But even with having men around me all the time, because I'm not only an event planner, I'm a pastor's kid. I worked for Walmart. I was a coach, so I always had people around me. I enforce respect for anybody, respect for the individual. I don't care who it is. If I am talking, you do not talk. If you walk in a room, you wait till you're acknowledged. And when I developed that rapport with them in the household, you know, they already knew. If there was a man in the household, hey, how you doing? Going on to my room. You know, it wasn't really a situation where they're like, well, who are you? You know, they didn't get out of pocket because I have no tolerance for disrespect towards adults. And that's a problem in society now. There's so many kids that feel like they're up on the level of an adult and they can talk to them any kind of way. I have zero tolerance. I have a look that will kill more than my words. But even when I started dating, like I did start dating like 2 years ago, and I brought him to the house, my daughters didn't know how to react to that situation because I kept them from that situation. And even though they respected him, to see someone intermingle with their mother on that level, they weren't ready for that. And so I had to pull back from that. And even though he was willing to, you know, try to become a part of their life, they were not ready for that dynamic. So I had to respect them where they were and kind of fall back and be like, look, this is not something they're ready for. They already dealing with the trauma of not having their dad. Let me slow roll into this. You know, and even if you not my man, even if you just a friend, so he just started coming by, bringing McDonald's, you know, here and there. And they became more open to him, so they see him as a friend now versus my man. If we don't ever get together, we don't ever get together. But they know they have somebody that can, a male friend that loves their mom, but then supports them as well. They are 17 and 18.
Did he bring one child McDonald's or both?
Hold on.
Gotta know.
So, ladies, let me ask y'all a question.
Gotta know.
Let me ask y'all a question since he brought that up. What do y'all think about that situation? What's your opinion on that? Huh? I want to hear the ladies' point of view on that. What's your opinion on that?
Hey, clarify what you're saying, Terrence.
Okay. If you don't know, even though it ended up being a hoax, we all knew it was fake. But I knew it was eventually. I saw it. But guy came, bought his kid some McDonald's. The mother is videotaping, fussing at him, saying, my other kids need something to eat, blase, something in the way of that one. My kids need something to eat. You only bring my child something to eat, and my other kids don't have anything to eat. And his whole point was, well, they're not my kids. They're not my responsibility. Where they call their daddy? Where their daddy at? I was bringing food for my kid. Right. So I'm asking the ladies, what do they think of that situation from a woman's point of view?
I think from a woman's point of view, I don't think a child should have to sacrifice their relationship with their dad because they have other siblings with other fathers.
I like that.
I remember my grandmother, when my grandmother wanted to spend time with me, she would make me go sit in her car for like hours until she was ready to go because the rest of my siblings was in the house. And when she would come out, she would just take me. So I don't think a child should lose their relationship with their dad just because they got to deal with, you know, my half brother this. And then a mom, she shouldn't set that type of environment because now you're telling your baby daddy what to do. How is your child going to have respect for any man that a woman is telling him what to do?
I agree with that as well. I felt like, even though it was a hoax, that was too much. It was really
We know that's actually going on.
really blown up. Yeah. It was really blown up, and I agree. Like, do not step in the way of that father-child relationship. You know, if he wants to do this for his child, and he's not obligated to do so. You know, so I agree with that. I don't really have you said a mouthful. I agree.
What about you two?
I agree. I just didn't know how the situation, as far as were they still in a relationship, or were they in a relationship for a long time and he helped raise those other kids? You know,
know.
well, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Baby daddy, yes,
You know, if it was that way, that was a little different.
Yeah.
And I felt like you didn't know how what his pockets were set up as, if he had enough
Probably.
to feed. You know, he just want to make sure his child ate. So but other than that, I just have to agree, don't take that relationship from that child with their parent. Yeah.
But then what if the world was turned? What if he was buying all the kids in the house? What would be the perception then?
We gave our opinion. We gave our opinion on the last show. World, y'all have to go watch the other shop talk to know what our view was. So we can leave it at that.
See, I cannot remember though. Was it that the child was at the house and he brought the food to the home, or what he brought?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to disagree with most y'all.
Why is that?
To me, if you want to buy your son food and you're in a split family, and I have one as well, out of respect, because you have to set that tone, that precedence, out of respect for those other kids, if you're going to bring your child or daughter that's in that home with those other children, then to me, you're obligated to ask if those other children need something. If
But
not,
he said ask.
you go pick your son up or daughter up and say, hey, listen, I'm going to run you to Subway real quick and we're going to have lunch together.
Right.
But you don't
That's a
bring
good idea.
food and say, that's not my responsibility. That's rude.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm sorry, that's downright rude to those other children. You're not the dad. We're not saying you are. But what I'm saying is, your kids are a sponge. They're absorbing everything you do. So why not show them how respectful you are and call? Hey, Maggie, are your other two children there? Yeah, they are. Well, I was going to stop by and get John some McDonald's. Would they like something? Or would you like me to take them away from the house and bring them back? It's literally, you're bringing in and, well, he's my child, I ain't going to worry about them. To me, that's rude. It's kind of like if you're going to bring pizza into the classroom, you share it with all the kids, not just your buddy.
And that's a great point that you
Okay,
made.
check this out.
If he had taken him away from the home, which that would have been different. But bringing it to the home, you made a very, very valid point. And I totally agree with that.
And I get where you're coming from, but what if Johnny wanted his other two brothers and sisters to come with him, and something happened on that outing, and they came back home, tell mama, and
that's gonna
now
be a
the
whole
daddy's
nother
involved.
situation.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother scenario. So yes, the idea to take him away, have lunch with him, and then bring him back, it's a happy medium, because then they're gonna be like, well, where'd you go?
And what did you eat?
Right. And you know kids gonna tell.
But it's not put in that aspect. It's not put into their face.
Right.
Like, I'm not eating this delicious slice of pizza from Brooklyn Pizzeria. You got none.
Yeah.
To me, it's just that mutual respect, that tone, that happy medium to show respect for everyone. And so, where you said you have a very strong line of respect, I agree with you, but I also disagree. I believe that children deserve respect, and if we give them that respect, then they will respect us in return. I was brought into a blended family. I had a child that I brought with me, and then I had two other stepchildren. And it took me a good 6 years to earn that child's respect and understanding that I'd always be dad, I'd always be there, because his father's not in his life. And to this day, he calls me dad, and I see no difference between biological and non. I love them equally the same. So when you're talking about blended families, I think the world right now is in such chaos. There's so much baggage with everyone, men and women alike. I think we have to go in, and the greatest part of it is we have to communicate with the person that we're with, you know, and when you do, that's where you set the boundaries. That's where you set everything down. And I just took it as my wife that I've been with 11 years now. I just told her I would love to be Gavin's dad. I said I've always wanted a big family of my own, you know, and I just told her I'll earn my way. I'm okay with that. And he knows, like you said, kids play each other, but he knows that dad's the more peaceful, calm one. He'll listen and be more understanding.
You sound like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, he really does. He really does. I'm sorry, I gotta ask him a question before he moves too far off to something else. Okay, it's Christmas. I'm the only father of the multiple baby child's fathers that has a job, or a good enough job, whereas I could get my child whatever he wants for his birthday or Christmas. So my child gets whatever they want. The rest of them don't. What is your suggestion?
That is a completely different scenario.
I asked you a question. What is your suggestion?
What do you mean?
I know it's a different scenario, because one is food and one is Christmas.
Right.
So it's obvious it's different. What is your suggestion?
It depends on the given situation. If you're
take the food out and change it to Christmas.
the gift. That's what he said. Yeah.
It just depends on the situation where it's the same concept. If I pick my child up for Christmas versus, or if I just have the time to drop off the gifts, it would be polite to buy something small for the other children there, but it's not. It's different because that is Christmas. That's not. It's not a kind of everyday thing.
In essence, it's all subjective. It is.
Everything is. So it's all given situation.
Is. So, I mean, you kind of use shaming tactics when you speak a lot. And, you know, people, we all grow up different. We all have different views. That doesn't necessarily make one thing wrong or one thing right, or that you disrespect the children. No, I literally have an obligation to mine. And it's a plus if I do anything else. Yes, it would be nice. We don't need to try to shame that man because he didn't. Or you disrespect, you're not respecting other children. What?
Well, that's why I put that kind of that loophole in there, that you take the child away from the home.
But by the same logic, you would be, we got to use the same logic with Christmas, with the Christmas scenario that I gave you. You can't just change it.
Yeah, and that video was a more of a baby daddy, baby mama situation. Mm-hmm. So I think you speaking from a marital situation. Mm-hmm. If it's a baby daddy, baby mama situation, I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't buying your kids jack. I'm buying my kids whatever, because I'm not obligated to buy them little raggedy. You know what I'm saying? Just let their daddy get them. Huh?
That doesn't make you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I mean, because if that's the case, that's just like they do with the child support. You got guys out here paying child support for other people's kids, and it's not because they didn't involve themselves with the kids or try to help out with them. They not the daddy, so they being held responsible for something they didn't even make. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting there delivering some gifts to my kids, me and you are not together at all, you better find their daddies. I'm not doing it. I'm taking care of mine, because that's my obligation. That's who I'm obligated to. Now, if I'm married to her and got kids, I love them like they're mine. From a baby mama situation, the way these ratchet, you see, you about to get me going off. The way some of these women is, hell no, I'm not buying kids. Like
my mama said, you lay with them.
Yep.
Like my mama said.
There's really no perfect answer.
It's really, yeah. I look at it like this. Before you go, I look at it like this: finances. If his finances ain't right, but he still want to feed his kid, man, do that. If he got enough money and he decide to feed everybody, God bless him. That's good. But you gotta look at it that way too, financial. Maybe he can't afford to feed all. She probably, the way she sound on that phone, sound like she got like 11 kids. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can't feed all 11, and his son is the 12th child. You know what I'm saying?
If I may that,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. 'Cause I was gonna kind of go back to what the original thing was. Go
So it really is more than just giving from my perspective. It's about what you're teaching. Because case in point, like I can't my son has older brothers and I can't always give. But what I can do is that say, all right, well you just started your job. Great, you're 16, beautiful. Open up a Roth IRA so that you can start from 16 putting away, thinking about the end goal. You know, so teaching those type of things, giving them that kind of advanced information that most people don't know at that as grown will now set him up for a better future than me just bringing you McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I value is giving that knowledge, that wisdom, that direction, so that not only is he getting it, but because you're the older brother, now my son looks at you, see that it works for you. Now he's following your footsteps when he don't even feel like following mine. Because it comes a time in life where you're looking at your friends or your siblings and watching their moves. But if I can be able to possibly guide them, then maybe you'll fall in line right along with them. You know, so
Yeah, that's true.
just a different way of looking at it.
check this out. Pertaining to the blended families, like we spoke a lot about the man and the woman that's actually in that household, but what about that father that's actually, you know, the biological father, and he's outside of that household, but wants to be 100% hands-on and that main person over his child as far as molding them, raising them, all that stuff. But now he got another man in the house filling his shoes, and he ain't did nothing wrong. How y'all think that man feel?
Well,
I'm sorry, because I was actually in that situation. You know, my first marriage, I chose to leave. We divorced, but those are my kids. I've always taken care of my kids. I've always been there. They need anything, they call me. I told her we're not going to court for visitation because I want the right to come to see my kids whenever I want to and be there for whatever they need. So every weekend, I took a job just so I can have every weekend off so that I can be with my kids. So, you know, she's dated guys or whatever have you, and the only thing I asked of them, just like I told one of her male friends, you know, they dated for a long time, I say, I don't care what y'all do. This is me and my kids. So, example, if my son got in trouble in school, let me know. If he got in trouble in the house, just let me know. If you are there and you are taking care of the household as a man, that's fine. He has to respect whatever rules y'all set forth in the household. But don't put my children in a place to where you're trying to make them feel inferior of you because you're there and because I'm 100% in their life. Don't make them feel like, you know, they have to respect you with certain things, because the mother and I have to set those limitations for them to understand. Respect you as a man, respect you as the one in the house that's taking care of things. And when and my agreement was that when it came to discipline, that you and him have a determination of how you're going to do it, because you and I have always had that same determination. And we're not going to have somebody come in and change that and change how things are being done or whatever have you and do it his way. And now me being on the outside, I got to say, yeah, he's right. No, man, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I see you turning. Go ahead. What you got?
It's ironic that you say that, because that goes right back to what we spoke about in the beginning, about how now the man that's with the mother that's in the blended family, now that's really kind of affecting how he wants to run his house.
Well, the thing is, it is, but it's not. It's just that It's that whole communication. Because the thing of it is this: if her and I, before she brings this man in the house, say that when it comes to discipline, there's certain things that we're not gonna do. There's certain ways we're gonna handle situations. We're gonna start with communication first. If that doesn't work, then we'll go to corporal punishment. All right, that's fine. But if he's one, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you know from the beginning, you need to not deal with this man. because he and I gonna have an issue.
Okay, let's say you do go that route, right? You say the first you say talk to the child first, then you go to the corporate discipline.
Right.
Okay, let's say we do get to that point to the corporate discipline.
Right.
My wife ex-husband, he told me, I don't have a problem you spanking.
Right.
He say that. I know he said that. It came out of his mouth. It sound nice.
100 times.
Let's say the shit do go down.
Right.
Who don't know what the kid's gonna go back and tell him?
You don't. You do not know. You do not know.
So that might be a situation. Even though we don't have that problem,
right?
I'm somebody out there having that problem.
Yeah, and again, that's where it comes to communication. Because if you know your child, I got three children by my first wife. I know the first one, she could always tell the truth. The second one, it depends on if it helps him. The third one, he can straight up lie every time. You know what I'm saying? He gonna lie every time. So you have to know that as a father, if you are 100% interacting with that child all the time, you know that. You know when he come back and say, Dad, he hit me upside the head with an aluminum baseball bat. Son, what did not at? Straight line. You know, then you say, tell me the truth, what happened? Well, I got in trouble in school and I kept doing it and they talked to me, and then you can finally get the truth out of them. And then you can leave it alone. And then all you do is go to that mother. It depends on what kind of relationship you have with, the man that's in the house. If you can talk to him or whatever have you. And just tell me what happened.
But
whatever y'all chose to do.
I think the men need to establish that
in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, we had an incident, but a lot of them, kind of like what you said, you and her had something established. But this man coming in, y'all need to have
the three of us had we had to
and then
that communication.
But you got some guys, they I like to call them they want to come in after the work is done.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they were in the kid's life, they done moved on, got remarried and all this other stuff, and they want to show up. That man that's sitting in the house, that's taking care of business, doing all the work, but when it's time for graduation, here this nigga want to come.
Right. He want to reap the benefits.
Like he did something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's disrespectful. Like he said, to the man that's sitting in the house, that's sitting there like, hold on, bro, where you been all this time? Because I experienced that, and I had to check him. You know what I'm saying? You want to come in on the back burner when I'm buying the clothes, feeding your kids, talking to them. Kids almost died. You ain't there. You 4 or 5 hours away. You can't be there. We're right here. Yeah. So, and you're not trying to communicate with me. You want to communicate with her because she's a soft target. You don't want to talk to the man. Right. You get what I'm saying?
And that's what we have to, and that's all it is straight up real communication. Not none of that bull. You can't tell me half the story because I'm not there. You need to tell me the whole story so that I understand. So when my son come to my house that weekend, well, Dad, this is what happened. I don't want to hear it, son. I already know. I don't want to hear it.
What mine used to do was they would, like I said, it got to be communication, but playing everybody off on each other. So he would call and say, hey, such and such said this. No, that wasn't true. But when they call, he'll say, you know what? That's something that goes on in that household. You did something there. You're being punished for a reason. Don't call me.
We have to make sure that it's fair, though.
Yeah,
and have to make sure that the child
is fair. Well, in our situation, in my situation, it's fair. But like I said, it kind of started off when they were younger because my oldest was 12 and he's 28 now, and so they've grown to know Ernest and know what he's, about. They, as far as the parents out, my ex-husband and my husband getting along, and they see that and they see us communicating, they don't try that no more. Right. And when they do, they get shut down at the door.
Exactly.
But you set that precedent, though. And that's what females got to understand, that's having that. If I'm bringing children in this relationship, then I have to set that precedent. I can't want it one way and then flip and turn it to the other because it's convenient. You're playing yourself.
All right, let's move on to the second topic.
First, don't do this rap shit to stand out. My plan's about to minimize the folks holding their hands out. Whether you on the corner bumming all day at your man's house, relying on government funds, crying cause they ran out. It's hard to believe you can receive when you ain't ran routes. When chasing the greed, most people bleed cause it don't pan out. It's time to proceed, so take heed to what your plan's about. So you can grow seeds with no weeds, then watch your plans sprout. Everybody wants something but don't know how to get it. Pride in their way, hide it away and just admit it. Swallow that shit.